12 years old, we were all that age once, and if you haven't been that age yet, why are you here? Do you want a juice box? I have Spy Kids 2 on DVD if you want to watch that. We've all been young and not so smart. When I was in 8th grade, I thought I was the only person that knew that lo-fi hip-hop existed. I thought Tom Papa Beats was like in the court of the Crimson King. I used an iPod Classic until freshman year of high school. I listened to Brockhampton. I thought Fleetwood Mac was a craft product. I had no context for the world. As far as I knew, adults spent most of their time getting audited and dying. But that part is actually still the case. That seems to be what most adults do. But they also watch movies with Bill Nye and movies directed by Ben Affleck. But when you're a kid, you don't even know who Ben Affleck is. My point is, being a kid is embarrassing, and it leads you to do stupid stuff, like look up aggressive Sigma male, Walter White, Travis Bickle, Aaron Yeager, Dogfight, Supreme Box, Logo, Drift, Funk, Molchat Doma, COD Ghost playlist, and leave comments on said Sigma male music playlist. And today I don't want to get too complicated, so we're just going to look at some of these playlists and comments and see what we find. But first, a sponsored message from our sponsor. Before we get into the rest of the video, I want to take a second to thank today's sponsor, Wren. Wren is a resource you can use in the fight against climate change. Essentially, just go to their website, do their quiz, figure out, how you want to better help limit carbon emissions, whether you want to offset your own, or you want to support other projects that are doing positive things for the environment, and just find out how to live your life more sustainably and cut down on things that you do that are possibly wasteful. Once you sign up for a monthly contribution, you will get updates, so you will get photos and updates with every tree planted, every acre reforested, etc. Wren has a bunch of cool projects you can support. For instance, the one that I think is the coolest is removing dead and flammable trees from California wildlife and turning them into a biochar, which is a form of charcoal that safely can store carbon so it won't be released into the atmosphere. Of course, the effects of climate change are visible everywhere. We are having a strikingly hot spring in Seattle, and of course, we've been having hot days left and right. There are wildfires during the summer, etc. So it affects all of us. Anywho, this would only be one small thing you could do in the larger fight against climate change, and it does lay on the shoulders of the wealthy, the billionaires, the corporations to do their part in actually helping humanity here. But if you're interested in Wren, please use the link in the description. The first 100 people get a full month free. So yeah, go check out Wren, and thank you so much for sponsoring this video. So there are 3 playlists I wanted to take a look at today with anywhere from 5 to 17 million views. And first of all, is that not nuts? Right? If 500 years ago, if you wanted to get the attention of 17 million people, you had to be Jesus. You had to throw your hat into the Son of God raffle hat and win. Just ridiculous 3-way parlay from Jesus. Terrible luck for Draft King Herod. Who the fuck is the audience for a DraftKings Bible joke is my question, and it's probably a lot of youth Christian basketball leagues. Either way, I feel like I should have gone with Draft Princes of Peace, but that's a lot looser of a connection. I feel like I can't win. I feel like this joke maybe should have been cut. It's also worth noting that these playlists are anywhere from a year to 3 months old, so they're still going strong in terms of relevance. Nobody's coming along to dethrone the Sigma Gym playlist industrial complex. In fact, I bet Joe Biden signed a bill this weekend that transferred like 30% of public education lunch program funds to independent Sigma playlist contractors, and I just didn't hear about it. I love democracy. Sorry if I'm sweating a lot. It's 83 degrees and I'm under a hot light, and I love sweating. I can't get enough. I sweat whenever I can. Okay, so here are the names of the playlist. The first one is called Aggressive Funk Playlist Number 1. So we've entered serialization, Count of Monte Cristo, eat your heart out. Aggressive Funk playlist is coming for you. Next one is Sigma Funk Mix 2023, Aggressive Drift Funk 2023. Few things of note here. We hit the funk twice. They say it twice. Second, aggressive we've seen, so glad that we're emphasizing violence. I felt that gym workout culture needs more male violence and aggression. And the third playlist is Sigma Male playlist, in parentheses, motivational workout music. We got a picture of Patrick Bateman doing the Sigma face, and I love the parenthetical. It makes it feel a lot more honest than the others. It's like, it's secondary. It's a Sigma Male playlist, but I don't know, you could use it for workout music. Maybe it's even, I don't know, it's motivation. It's kind of like a Swiss Army playlist. I don't know if you've sort of heard of that concept. All right, let's start with Aggressive Funk playlist. I don't know if this is just me, but funk type beat gave me massive amount of adrenaline to my body. To me, this is a pretty respectable comment. I sure have music that gives me massive amounts of adrenaline to my body. For instance, Moon Song by Phoebe Bridgers sends my body into a fight or flight response similar to the ones my wounded ancestors felt while being stalked by ravenous sloth bears. In conclusion, music does many things for many people. Aggression personified into a drug called music is strictly amazing for people who struggle with anger issues and would like a non-law-breaking way to have an outlet. This soundtrack carries me through fighting games and most games with PvP, and I am thankful that my mental health has such an aggressive outlet as soundtracks like this. Bless all of you aggressive people who do not take it out on the innocent and choose to just live intensely in your head through amazing songs like these. Alright, okay. Yeah, you're not Goku, man. Come on, let's be reasonable here. Respect to all the Sigmas who can just take their anger out on Counter-Strike Go and not kill people? Is that what the comment was? Looking at this gif with the music reminds me to scare my enemy and fight. Even I am hurted, even I am bleeding, even my hand got cut off. Smile. Smile with your deadly face, which scares the enemy to death. What are you talking? What scenarios could you possibly be finding yourself in where that's helpful information? Don't forget to do candles and lean with me, rock with me, and stick man lift exercises, because we're the ones when we all walk, we send them farther away from our lives as we get lost in the clouds of time. Ongoing, we will always have a beat to listen to. This is my healing solution. Get creative, think higher, dream big, and imaginate. That's a nice sentiment. I like that. I honestly don't want to listen to this music because of the cringe-ass comments. Sigma unity, and then 75 purple devil emojis. I think that's a great synthesis of this comment section. It's a distillation. If you decanted this comment section and let it breathe, you'd sort of get that flavor from it. It's not lost on me that the Sigma playlist is a hilarious construct on its own that also reflects the impotence and rigidity of this sort of Sigma ideology in a perfect little box. Of course, being a Sigma is about being an awesome, strong individual who is different and an alpha wolf and can open Boyardee cans with his canines and lift city buses that have fallen on vulnerable Redditors, but at the same time, a Sigma male is someone who only goes to the gym and does meal prep and listens to the same 20 songs every other Sigma male listens to on repeat in a sheltered environment, probably a Planet Fitness storage closet. You know, at once, the Sigma is a force of nature, a fierce gust of wind knocking over a tree, an arrow flung from a crossbow splitting an apple, but also just another arrow in the quiver, alongside dozens of identical cylindrical sticks of wood with sharpened tips. You're supposed to preserve your rugged individualism in a sea of people who think they're exactly the same as you, better than everybody else. It's a core contradiction within this brand of counterculture, and don't get me wrong, it doesn't really just appear here, it happens in all sorts of counterculture. But this isn't really counterculture because counterculture has to be counter to a culture, and this is the culture. This isn't the counter. One might say, oh, but consider punk culture. All of those people do the same sorts of things and wear the same clothes, but punk culture doesn't pride itself on being an individualist clusterfuck, it's a community, and it has radical political beliefs that reflect that. The idea of a place for Sigmas to come together to rally around one bigger Sigma that has created a brilliant resource for the other Sigmas, a playlist of drift funk music, is unbelievably funny because, just like the songs in a playlist, every single pathetic Sigma male lines up single file in the comments to shoot off some snarky comment about the superiority of this music, of themselves, or about how strong and angry it makes them feel. Which makes it all the better that a different force of people have come into the comment section and flooded it with calling these people bots, because yeah, if you're subscribing to the ideas preached by demagogues like Sneeko and Andrew Tate, you are falling in a very old, very established line, one of toxic masculinity, of strict gender roles, of misogyny, of the nuclear family, of the male who needs to provide, and holy shit, it's an awful line, dude. You don't want to hang out there. It's also not lost on me that the reactionary ideology's playlist or music genre is just a bastardized, reappropriated, bland version of hip-hop. Like, funk existed outside of drift funk, and drift funk is just, it's like one song over and over again. It's baffling that it became its own genre, and it got to co-opt the name funk. Want to know how to make drift funk? It's 808 cowbell. That's it. That's the only sound you need. There are people with millions of streams just off of copy and paste 808 cowbell beats. Has FL Studio gone too far? Do we need to go back? Maybe piracy is bad, actually, because it means that the people who are getting the software aren't actually cool enough to go out and steal the CD-ROM from Best Buy. Okay, wow. Well, now I'm looking at the Aggressive Funk Playlist #1 channel, and it also has Funk Playlist 1, literally me with Walter White. It has Aggressive Funk Playlist #7, Homelander the Boys, a 16-second Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver edit, a bunch of anime people with glowing eyes, Heisenberg playlist, Cillian Murphy from Peaky Blinders playlist. We also got the Aggressive Funk Playlist #6, and then in all caps, I Will Kill You, with the thumbnail of Half Skull Patrick Bateman, which has to be avant-garde in some fashion. I don't know, that's subversive to me. Just a good range of videos to pull from here if you want to be embarrassed in front of your classmates at a young age. You know, it's like, hey man, what are you listening to on your phone? Show me your phone screen. Can I see what you're listening to, man? If I personally was asked that while listening to funk, I would be like, yeah, Findom ASMR. Because that's much less embarrassing to listen to in public than this. Back in my day, you know, when we used to suck the real lead from pencils and eat paint chips, the scariest thing you could be into in elementary school was like Luigi's Mansion. And I think this is pretty comparable in terms of intimidation factor, at least. You know, back in my day when we used to drive stick-shift cars into ravines and go to old-fashioned diners with pistols. Back in my day when we used to hide animal carcasses in the hoods of Model Ts and throw Molotov cocktails into Triangle Shirtwaist factories. You know, it's different now. Being a kid is different. Whatever happened to Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Whatever happened to Bakugan? Now it's all preteens in the comment sections of funk playlists talking about creatine and developing eating disorders. We need to go back to when Danimals commercials would give you eating disorders. That's where I got mine, baby. So how should I bulk? You're 144 months old. Your soft spot just closed. There are schnauzers that weigh more than you. You're not allowed to stand on the deck when you go on a ferry because you might be swept away. You have a BMI of 1. You have to do the Air Jordan to touch a door frame. I'm 13 and I use this playlist to deadlift. Give up. You know, do something productive. Learn how to troubleshoot ChatGPT C++ mistakes. Do VR surgeon training. Be the first one to be able to resurrect childhood pets in the metaverse. There's a world of tasks you could be accomplishing. Why can't you be the one? True story, when I was 12, I was listening to a Sigma music playlist, and a man came up to me and he said, true happiness, true success doesn't come from gyms or working out. It comes from pursuing your passions and being bald and looking a little bit gay. Not like Animal Crossing gay, like J. Crew gay. And that man's name was Steve Jobs. Let's look at the next playlist, shall we? Next, we got Sigma Funk Mix 2023, Aggressive Drift Funk 2023. A good thing about this one is a lot of the comments are just making fun of Sigmas now. I really badly want to explain this one. OMG, I finally have music to listen to while reading the story of an overthinking hooper. Thanks, fellow Sigma. Easter Island emoji, and then wine emoji. So, now, is this funny? Maybe not. But however, Journey of the Overthinking Hooper absolutely is. This is all downstream of a trend on TikTok where people would screenshot comments on a slideshow to make fun of people. Clearly I'm above that. But somebody screenshotted answers to the question, if your life was a novel, what would the name be? And some 11-year-old commented Journey of the Overthinking Hooper, and it just stuck. I can't think of anything more middle school than Journey of the Overthinking Hooper. It's like that's the hardest thing you can go through at that point. Not only do I play basketball, I think much more than I should. You know, what a delicate, thoughtful appraisal of the human condition. Are we not all but overthinking hoopers on nature's court? I'm not reading all of this one. I guess I'll explain. The Easter Island head is a commonly used emoji by Sigmas. It like maybe means steadfast or cool or stone-faced. I can't explain it. I literally can't. I'm aging out of understanding this stuff. I'm 21. At a point I thought that was young, but these people are proving me very wrong. My girlfriend recently introduced me to this type of music, and I can't get enough of it. The beats make me feel powerful, and the energy it makes me feel motivates me to be my best self. Hera, if you're in the comments somewhere, I love you. See, this guy gets it. This is what music is all about. It's getting told about songs by your girlfriend that make you better. This is unironically very cute. This is the only good comment. Playlist makes me want to go ahead and drift a jet instead of a car. Music theory is amazing. When did music theory? When did that come into play? Are you notating this? Are you transcribing it? Where did you get the Funk City sheet music? You know? This is my impersonation of a drift funk theorist when the 808 cowbell goes up a half step and then the out-of-tune 808 goes to the wrong note. Yeah, I'm getting Liszt, I'm getting Shostakovich. I just wish Bernstein could have conducted this, pulled the emotion from it, you know? If you go through the comments here on your own, you'll notice that the people making fun of these people can also be very homophobic and racist. Everything from very sexual jokes to slurs. I think that's important to think about, that being opposed to stuff like this isn't about criticizing ignorance or naivete, it's about making fun of people for being cringe. There's a sectarian rift between the machismo aesthetic of the video and the sort of dominating machismo attitude of the people making fun of it. I don't really know if these people are all that different from the Sigma listeners. Maybe they've just approached a sort of cultural overhang. Some have fallen off and some have just stayed put. Me? I'm neither. I'm perfect. I wake up every day and I put on my birthday hat because it's my birthday. And if you get mad at me that day, you're getting mad at the birthday girl. On my sweet 16 too, the day after the queen died. You know what? Fuck you. I listened to this while at the gym. Usually I did 20 reps. With this playing, I did 150 reps. It's insane how much music can change performances. 20 replies. He is getting cooked. You cannot lie as well on the internet these days. It's a real shame. You know, back in my day when you had to sharpen your knife on preacher bones and scavenge straight dog meat just to make it past nightfall. No. When I was a kid, it was so easy. You could just be like, yeah, I met Hero Brian. He was actually pretty chill. And then it would be 100 responses, all of them like, teach, how did you do that? Is there a tutorial? But now this guy is just like, oh yeah, I did some extra exercise. And everybody's like, no, idiot. You'd break your bones. It's like the times are changing. I miss a time when it was easier to be duplicitous, if you will. I think duplicitous is a good thing to be. I do struggle with making videos like these. I don't like casting a wide net of criticism or japing at a group of people. I started writing this like a month ago, and I wrote the bulk of it and then didn't finish it until today. You know, I really do empathize with kids who are trying to be cooler than they are. You know, when I was 13, I would make fake Tyler Oakley accounts to try to get the top comment on other YouTubers' videos. Nobody knows that but me. It doesn't get more embarrassing than that. Well, actually, yes, it does get embarrassing. It does get more embarrassing because last year I tweeted a photo of Obama and Tyler Oakley and Hannah Hart meeting in like 2015 with the caption, "Nightmare blunt rotation." And Tyler himself responded. He was like, "Oh, that's okay. I'll smoke on my own," something to that effect, basically being like, "I'm sorry you don't want to smoke with me, but I'm happy with myself." And I said, "Oh, I used to watch your videos all the time." And then he screenshotted that and added it to a Twitter thread of people switching up, like roasting him. And then when he responds being like, "OMG Tyler, no, I'm sorry, I'm a fan." He ate me the fuck up. Can I say that? Like, in retrospect, he cleared me. That was utter humiliation. I activated his trap card. You know, in my defense, there does happen to be a difference between now Tyler Oakley and 2015 Tyler Oakley with Obama. I would totally smoke with now Tyler Oakley sans Obama. The difference is, he wouldn't smoke with me. Is that not the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to anybody? I was 20, he was 33, I'm young. I'm supposed to have some fight in me. I've never lost that bad ever, and I was chubby and on a basketball team in 5th grade. My point is that life in its totality is a series of graphic humiliations, and being a young person is such a core part of that experience, one that is super overwhelming and intimidating, and you're at the mercy of all of these confusing social and cultural forces, and it feels bad to be stumbling around totally confused and to hit your head. And that's something I'm very sympathetic to, and that's why all of the usernames here are blurred or cut out, and that's maybe a part of why I don't love doing these videos in the first place. Much like an Obama nightmare blunt rotation, it's a low blow, but one that I think commentary YouTubers, myself included, take a lot. A lot of viral media historically has been spectacle-oriented, people experiencing terrible failures or injuries or blunders, and that continues to be the case, whether it be on YouTube or other social medias, or the news. There's a slant towards covering the negative, and I've never been quite immune to that. It does make me feel immensely weak that I feel unable to rise above that, but sometimes it feels like there's nowhere else to go. You know, you're the creator that you are, and you do that and you stay put. And now we're finally at Sigma Male playlist, in parentheses, motivational workout music. We got whoever made this playlist is goated. And then right under it, as a Sigma myself, this playlist lets my demons calm down. I have no friends. This is the duality of YouTube commenters right here. This is Cain and Abel. This is a Baroque YouTube painting. Plus an anime profile picture from the person making fun of him, like, we know who you are. We can tell you're not cool either. You're just like the rest of us. You're regular. 0% cringe, 0% drama, 0% bad songs, 100% Sigma. A W in my book, nice to meet you, Sigmas. All right? 441 replies. You know it's impossibly bad for him. He's fighting a war in there. And a Crusader helmet profile picture, I think I know what war he's fighting. And L, unfortunately, Palestine solos. Sorry, loser. Somebody comments, "Hey, people making fun of everybody, stop. I need real comments for a video." What? Weird comment. Okay, this comment section is like all joke comments, so I'm gonna go back to the first video to mine for funny comments. I'm a 13-year-old girl who has always been the weakling girl in school. Then I told my ma how I wanted to be strong. She said, "You show them who's boss." I discovered funk and I listen to it every time I work out. Funk is amazing for deadlifting too, makes everything better. Don't ever lose confidence and motivation. You can do it. Never give up. You're amazing. As a last thought, I feel I would be remiss to not talk about the malignant nature of these playlists, though, so forgive me for a moment while I actually do get political. The comments under these Sigma playlists are very funny, yes, but funny because, as previously mentioned, they are most likely created by and for children who do not understand exactly what they're saying or why they're saying it. Sigma to these children might as well be seen, or emo, or cool, or awesome, just a random phase or subculture their youth has stripped them of any ability to meaningfully relate to. When you're a kid, you suck. You're lame. You look to the people above you, socially and generationally, to situate your own self in relation to them. Of course, when I was young, I too longed for the same sort of identitarian demarcator, a soft box I could be placed in. Consider the nerd culture of my elementary and middle school experience. Collecting Pokemon cards and playing Nintendo games, a culture that came along with its own facile worldview, a dichotomy between relevant, cool, normal people and subculture freaks. A false dichotomy nonetheless, one whose existence only existed insofar as I observed it to be. The other kids in my grade played video games about sports. I played Mario. A child's brain isn't well adapted enough to understand that these things are not only irrelevant, but structurally pretty similar. Their hobbies defined by an external interest. My interest in Mario possibly reflected my need for escapist fantasies, my need to be swept away into a different world. Other kids playing sports games liked sports. Maybe they too needed to escape from the worldly mediocrity of being a child, underdeveloped, unable to excel meaningfully anywhere but your age group. But that's where the inimical power of the Sigma playlist truly finds its footing, amongst confused, disoriented, frustrated kids, outsiders perhaps, or worse, insiders looking to affirm their continued existence at the top of a social hierarchy. Through a Sigma Alpha Beta ideology, the intricate process of growing up and understanding social, emotional, and broadly human dynamics can be steamrolled and carefully vivisected to present the ideas of old as fresh, interesting, and subversive. Perhaps this is where reactionary rhetoric truly succeeds, being able to posit culture as it stands, fortified by centuries of dominance as a forgotten, besieged counterculture, one that has weathered the storm time and time again, proving itself as reliable shelter. This, of course, reckons back to Umberto Eco's famous essay on fascism, in which a core tenet of fascism is presented by a continuous shifting of rhetorical focus. The enemies are at the same time too strong and too weak, and specifically in regards to masculinity, machismo implies both disdain for women and intolerance and condemnation of non-standard sexual habits, from chastity to homosexuality. The Sigma male ideology, like many other ideologies that came before it and many that will subsequently reinvent its reactionary skew, is one that seeks to isolate reality beyond its own means, to make claims so sweeping and irrefutable that they must be seen as truth, truly to flatten the convolution of material society onto a set of verities, facts they believe should be true, to reshape reality into a beast of their own creation, a warped chimera, only capable of being tamed by the strong, the dominant, the male. Of course, the child commenting has no context for this, has no true understanding of the implications of the existence of a Sigma male, and hopefully will grow out of their exaltation of this type of person. But it remains a subject of concern that these ideas of patriarchy, of dominance, still find their way into the minds of young folks. Finally, the Sigma male construct enforces both a false sense of individuality and a false sense of community. Seemingly opposite effects can be achieved by a deceptively simple premise. It goes as follows: you are a strong, independent, self-reliant man, you are well-liked and successful, and you have found that success, both socially and financially, from being yourself, an irrefutable beacon of masculinity and progress. Simultaneously, your ability to do this, to make society better, relies entirely on a subsection of men in that society to together heed the call to traditional masculinity, to support each other, to build this culture one brick at a time. Only through the collective work of millions of individuals can the truly solipsistic ideal be achieved. The true solutions to these problems, ones of earnest community between people who allow each other to express themselves and continually better themselves and grow within said communities, is obscured by this fucked up hierarchy of sigmas, betas, and alphas, of females not texting back and men commenting she's fucking somebody else on each other's gym videos. A better world isn't made through a meat grinder. As adults in a rapidly evolving world and social climate, there is of course need to be better for our children, and to be wary of who is trying to be better for our children. Where does the line of our youth's autonomy to explore the internet, the world, and themselves end, and where do the lines of reactionary thought traps begin? We are addicted to the aesthetics of simple living, and we are bound to an intricate reality. I wish I could say I was free of this, that I am not addicted to being perceived, to looking in the mirror, but the unfortunate truth is, I am probably just as bound to aesthetic constructs as all of these kids are. I don't want to be some sort of indiscriminate hypocrite wagging my fingers at young people on the internet. Young people who probably earnestly don't understand anything about the world or what they're putting into it. I don't want to be perceived as weird or mean or cruel or uncool or unattractive or unlikable, and I don't wish to be divorced from myself and distilled into a cringy comment that would otherwise be lost on a video. I don't want to see myself turn into a culture cop or a buzzkill, or even worse, a useless, facile excuse for a content creator. I find myself paralyzed by fear at the idea of posting a joke, a thought, an idea. I know I've already tried so hard to hold myself to higher standards, but I still find myself swallowing my pride and waxing poetic on bullshit. In the clearest terms, the job of a YouTuber that I have chosen is to be a professional stay-at-home loser who pumps car exhaust from my mouth into the ears of hundreds of thousands of people, hoping to convince them that I'm more than what I am. Maybe it took me so long to make this video for that exact reason. I can't always stomach being the loser that puts these losers on blast. That's not to say that there is an importance to be found in digging deep and extracting meaning from what seems meaningless, that people shouldn't look inward and truly analyze the building blocks of the things they see, but it is to say that as users of the internet, it's not wrong to want something more meaningful, more human. Because what I do in this video, it wasn't necessarily wrong or unhelpful, but it was a construction of something inhuman. An extrapolation of videos and comments and amorphous moments to build a useful idea, one I can prove myself by unpacking. It may be a harmful idea, one that is reflected in the things that I speak about, but at its core that's what I'm doing, stacking blocks so I can knock them down. But that's enough about me. In terms of solutions to the problem, kid sigmas, etc., personally I think we should extract the brains of children through a big straw and put it in one large child brain in the middle of the country that we use to mine for crypto and to train ChatGPT-5 on. But that's just my idea. It's not like I've been emailing and calling my senators for months trying to get Operation Youth Mind on the desk of Joe Biden. Did I mention we could also use it to power cloud gaming, like Google Stadia and NVIDIA GeForce Now? I also want a big cat, like a lion or tiger or puma, and I want to become friends with it and go on a grand adventure to find the ruins of an ancient forgotten city. Is that really too much to ask? I hope not. But what I do hope is that this isn't too much to ask. My friend Alexis is in dire need of financial support. They have gone through a lot over the past few years, all sparked by an apartment fire that has left them financially unstable. They recently lost a job and they are struggling with addiction and relapse. They are looking for money to sustain themselves financially over the next few months while they get on their feet. I have left the link to all of their donation links in the description. I have donated myself, and I hope you will find it in your heart to do so too. On their Ko-fi, they are tracking the amount of money they have received so that you can see their progress towards their goal. But that's really all I have to say for this video. Thank you so much to Wren for sponsoring. Again, link in the description. The first 100 people who use it get a free month, which is pretty cool. Other than that, take care of yourself, take care of others, be kind to yourself, and be kind to others. And as always, thank you so much for watching.
1, 2,
Bye.
3.